Now, moving on to the stores that have these bestseller ratings. So, if you're wondering what type of what type of sellers uh, are are these that have these bestseller listings of toys, and if you have a new store on Amazon selling toys, then what is that you would need, or what is that you can take from these successful sellers that already have a best selling item on Amazon. And here we can see that the 12-month rating for these stores that have a best selling item is above 4. So that's a very, very strong listing the store as well. So customers have 88% of the customers rate these stores as very good, giving them 4 plus rating. And I think that's that tells that the trust that the customers have in those stores, that they'll be selling a quality product and would be providing a quality after sales customer service. That's what I'm thinking here. Again, if we look at the number of reviews that back that particular rating of 4 plus is listed here, 47% of the review, 47% of these stores that have a rating of 4 plus are backed by more than 100,000 reviews. So you know that if you buy from a store that has that rating and is backed by these many reviews within just last 12 months, chances that you'll get a good quality product would be much higher. And again, we see the second fraction here, 34% are backed by anywhere between 100 to 1,000 reviews for the store that has a bestseller listing of a toy. Now, in this particular chart, what we are looking at is, again, we are looking at the store that has a bestseller listing of a toy. Uh, but now we are looking at the number of items that are listed for sale in that store. So let's say if I have a teddy bear in my store that is a bestseller, then what I'm looking at here is uh, what what total number of listings does my store have. So here's the distribution of that, the proportions of that. Most of these 47% of the sellers that have best selling toy listed have more than 100,000 items listed in their store. That's what we have here. There are 29% of the sellers that have at least 100 items, 100, anywhere between 100 to 1,000 items listed in the store for sale at the time when this data was seen. So that's pretty. That's a large store. Imagine you have 1,000 items for sale, 1,000 different types of toys for sale in your store. So that's a very big inventory. And to be a bestseller, or let's say, if you think of it the other way around, a best item that is a bestseller comes from a store that has at least 100 items listed for sale in their store. See what I'm saying? So more number of items are available for sale in these stores, and there are very small. There is very small 1% uh, of 1% of the uh, bestseller listings that come from a store that have less than 10 items for sale. So these must be a very niche product, very uh, uh, very focused segment of toys that exist here. So these I'm not probably I have to look up what these products are, but that's interesting to know that even if you have 10 products, if they are unique and if they are completely different from others and customers like them, then maybe you can get away with having just 10 products in your inventory, 10 different types of products in your inventory. But in general, it seems that you need at least 100 items listed. So some of them will sell, some of them won't sell to make it to the bestseller list on Amazon. Now, again, if we look at which are the sellers that have more than 100,000 items in their store, that also have bestseller. So let me rephrase that. For a bestseller listing of a toy, uh, what store does it come from that has more than 100,000 items listed in their store? And 100% as shown here comes from the seller Cloudtail India. That's for this data set. So again, that's something to keep in mind. We are looking at just first 30 to 40 pages of the search list for the 10 categories in this data set. So this is this has to be a very big, this has to be a giant seller uh, that has more than 100,000 listings when looking at just 30 to 40 pages of all the 500 pages that are available to search through. And okay, so that's a big message there. And then the second is the sellers that have at least 100 or at least 1,000 to 10,000 items listed. So these are the second largest segment of sellers. We have 48% by this seller, and then we have other sellers listed here. So these are very big players that if you are trying to enter this market, then you probably want to have a product that is completely different from the products that are uh, listed in these stores, because the variety that is offered here is tremendous. I mean, imagine 100,000 to 100,000 options of toys listed. That's too many toys. Um, Again, I'd like to mention here that these number of items that are listed, some stores sell mix of items, so they may not be toys at all. It could be a vacuum cleaner. So that's something to keep in mind when looking at these data set. So although in this case, although this is 100,000, all of it may not be toys. Okay, some of it could be toys, some of it could be maybe other electronics, etc., etc. But what we are looking at here is the data that was collected only for toys. So that this is just for toys. Hope that was not confusing you. And now we are looking at the stores that have a bestseller item that sell, that have listings of 100 to 1,000 items in their store. So that's, you can see now that the competition has increased a lot. So there are so many sellers that have 100 to 1,000 items. Still, this is pretty big inventory. So if you are a new seller coming in and saying, okay, I'll buy this I have these 10 toys that I want to sell, 10 different types of toys that I want to sell. Each toy you could have 100 copies of that, but then you have just 10 different types. Then uh, you still have a long way to go because there are so many people that are selling that are listing at least 100 toys. Now coming down to a segment where below 100 but still above 10, we start seeing lesser number of people, lesser number of sellers. And if we go down below 10, then in this case, uh, so this is a typo up here. Largest bestseller store has 100,000 listings. That's based on the previous slides. I think I repeated that all the way through. That's just a typo there. Here we can see that this is case n is equal to 10. So there are only 3 sellers that have just 10 listings in their store, but then one of that listing makes it to the best seller list. These are those sellers. Again, point to note here is that the number of data points that we have is absolutely less, 7. So you probably don't want to trust this particular out result here. These at least are 79 records. These are 174. But still, it gives you an idea that if you are starting out and if you have less number of types of toys that you can sell, then you may want to check out these sellers and see what types of toys they are selling that still make it to the bestseller list, top 100 best-selling list uh, in on Amazon. But point to note again here to keep in mind is that making it to a bestseller list in top 100 may not necessarily mean that you are selling a lot of items overall. Sometimes the bestseller is for a niche category of toys. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let's say if you are selling chess boards, then within the toy category, the ranking could be 3000. But then if you are in a category of red chess boards, you could be number one. You see what I'm saying? So being a bestseller may not always translate to a lot of sales. The bestseller has to be it's relative to what category it is in. Now, so far we looked at ratings of products itself. We looked at ratings of the store. Now, if I'm sometimes trying to buy on Amazon, also look at the ratings of the feedback that the customers gave to a particular product. And in general, what you tend to look is are the ratings that are on the product page itself. So if I click on a product page of a teddy bear, the listing comes up. You have the image of the teddy bear on the left, you have the price on the right, you have the a seller name right there, and then if you scroll down all the way at the bottom of the page, there you will see listings, comments by sellers, comments by customers who bought that product, along with the 5-star ratings or the three up to 5-star rating. And each of that comment again has an accompanying rating. So this is that rating that we are talking here. And uh, here we can see. So before we get into this result, what I was expecting was that if we look at the best seller, the ratings given by customers to best selling item, best selling toy, probably more than 80 to 90% would give it a 4+ rating or a 5-star rating. And on the contrary, if the item or the toy is not a bestseller, then I was thinking maybe uh, very few people would rate it, very few customers would rate it as 4 plus rating or 3 plus rating. But interestingly, this is what the result looks like. The proportion is similar in all three cases. The first one is all the toys. It could be sponsored, bestseller, not sponsored, normal toys. The second is for bestsellers only. And the third one is without bestseller, but and without sponsored. So these are the listings that exclude bestsellers and sponsored listings of toys. And interestingly, the pattern is that 50% of the customers that rate the toys rate it, give it a 5-star rating. Now that's kind of raises questions of why that is the case. And then we see that 16%, around 15 to 16% give it a 4-star rating. And then you have this 10% that gives 3-star, that give 3-star, and then you have these 7% that give 2-star. And interestingly enough, 17 to 18% of the customers give 1-star rating to a listing of a toy, whether it be a sponsored or a bestseller, or if it's not sponsored, not bestseller, doesn't matter. That's pretty interesting, and I wonder why that is the case. So this is the question that I cannot. This is the plot that I cannot explain why that is the case. Why would it be so consistent across all three cases? Maybe if you have any thoughts on this, you could post it in comments below. I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are on this particular data set plot. So that was it then for this video. I hope in this video and the previous short videos on this data set, you got at least some insight as to what the toy market looks like on Amazon. And if you are trying to get into selling toys on Amazon, then what are the things that you should be aware of? What are the things that you probably need to watch out for? And who your competitors could be? And what is the minimum requirement to be a successful listing on Amazon? Uh, so this is what I was hoping to share with you guys. Again, this is not a sponsored video, and this is again not a business advice or financial advice. This is just me sharing some uh, insight on what I thought was pretty uh, cool to see how the toy market works. If you have any additional questions, or if you have any suggestions that you would like me to look at based on what I have here, please feel free to post them in the comment section below. Uh, if I have the answers to that, I'll definitely try to respond. And if you want to share your experiences that contradict with what I've talked about here, and if you have seen completely the opposite of what I've shown here, please feel free to post them below. I'll be interested to see what your experiences are. Uh, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me stay motivated to dive into these diverse topics and bring some interesting content for you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next video. Until then, thank you.